Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is KPZ, you're here on the home of the Slightly Above Average Ship Review. Got a tech tree spotlight for you today of the Japanese Tier 3 aircraft carrier, the Hosho. Presumably we're going to look at the teams here really quick. We're on hotspot in a domination match. We are down tier in the Hosho today. Enemy aircraft carrier is a Langley. Real quick, Hosho built in 1922, participated in something called the Shanghai Incident and the opening stages of the Sino-Japanese War. Did participate in the Battle of Midway in a secondary role, used for training most of the rest of the time. Surrendered to the Allies at the end of the war, used to repatriate Japanese troops until it was scrapped in 1946. Kind of interesting. Alright, we're looking at the teams again. Damage record for the Hosho, 128,909. Base XP record, 2171. So we're moving out. And so the Hosho is all about torpedoes. Our commander build is pretty good, but I realized after this match it wasn't as good as it could be. So we'll talk about that in the port briefly after the game. What inspirations to use on your aircraft carrier commander, who I believe might be tangentially somehow related to an American Olympian. I think Taimon Yamaguchi might be related to Christy Yamaguchi somehow. Whether that's true or not, I guess I can investigate that. All right, moving in, dropping these torpedoes. You see that orange area is the arming area, and the torpedoes aren't armed before that. Thankfully, one did arm, and we did catch the carrier or the cruiser with one torpedo. Now he's kind of angled, so this isn't great for us, but we're already in here, so we're going to drop him anyway. He's getting smashed by my teammates, and so we will drop a second time, and then we're just going to go back to the carrier and switch over to the HE bombs. Now, the HE bombs are a little bit different for the Japanese ships, so HE bombs aren't your primary way of doing damage here. So really, I only use these until I get a full flight of torpedo bombers reloaded. Also, you can see the oval, a lot different than that circle that we looked at with the Komsomolets. The Hermes and other Royal Navy aircraft carriers have more of an oval, like a wider oval, a circle that's more of an oval. I don't know, maybe like an elongated egg shape. This is more of a straight oval in terms of you got to line this up with the ship's body, and there's really not a lot of wiggle room if you're going crossways to the hull of the ship. So that being said, you're probably going to see that at some point today because A, I'm impatient, and B, I'm not very good at dropping bombs in this manner, which is why I recommend the Komsomolets or the Royal Navy aircraft carrier, the Hermes, if you're just starting off. Here you can see we're trying to line it up, not perfect, and we do get a couple of hits. It did fall within the ellipse, I guess is the right word, and you can see our planes are getting torn up because we're in amongst a bunch of different ships. So if you have the chance to get an isolated ship, that is what I recommend in an aircraft carrier. All right, going back to the torpedoes here. The Yokosuka B4Y, plane I'm very unfamiliar with. Real quick, Taimon Yamaguchi, is he related to Christy Yamaguchi? Well, that's a great question. It doesn't say here, so maybe we'll go look at her bio here. Checking back, we're just trolling for a target still. Maybe? It doesn't say. Her parents were in an internment camp. Her paternal grandfather is Tatsuichi Yamaguchi, so maybe like a distant cousin or something like that. But I wouldn't anticipate that they're directly related. All right, dropped some torpedoes there in a destroyer. Clearly, you have to lead them a lot, and we did not lead him enough. But really, we just want to keep the destroyer spotted for our teammates. Here, we're going to throw some torpedoes in the water, just trying to get them out at that point due to the bad angle, and that missed. And so, since we spotted him for a hot minute, we're going to move on to a better target. Here we've got a battleship, not a flat broadside, but close enough. And you can see we're going to get one torpedo strike there. By the way, I am moving on the map. You can see the mini-map. That is my intended path of travel. Do not forget to move your carrier during the match if one side of the map collapses or not. It is up to you to maneuver. Do not count on your teammates being able to help you. By the time you realize you are at threat from an enemy ship, you will not have time for them to get back there and help you. So it is up to you to proactively maneuver your carrier around the map. You don't want to get too close to the enemy, but on the other hand, you don't want to be too far away, because then you'll spend all your time flying. Now, really quickly, our team is getting the crap kicked out of them, which is why I started moving to the side. And now, here I'm going to try to go into the cap circle here, thinking that the rest of the people on my team are going to push towards the enemy. However, that is not the case. So if you're in a match like this, and you're not in a carrier, go for the enemy ships. Maybe the carrier commander will be smart enough to go for the cap like I was. Who knows? All right, moving in on a battleship again. Not the greatest lineup of hull and ellipse, but we do manage to get a couple bomb hits there. Moving around. Now this one's going to be a little bit better, I hope. Although he is starting to turn, so maybe not. Going back in. Don't forget to pay attention to your drop time remaining on the right side of the center of the screen there. We do set them on fire. And so that's good. We're going to take a little bit of damage there. Get those torpedo planes back in the air. And now you can see one of our battleships broke off and went into the cap circle. And that's part of the reason why we're not going to win this match. Yes, we're getting beaten, but if all those ships stay together, chances are they can inflict a little bit more damage on the enemy. And especially a battleship. I can see if this cruiser, who doesn't have a lot of health, went into the cap circle, but a full health battleship needs to go fight the enemy, not capture a circle. Okay? And I harp about capturing the cap circles all the time. The time for capturing the cap circles ended when we went down more than 3 ships. Now you got to take out the enemy, and you can't do that if you're capturing a cap circle on the other side of the map. So I really wish that battleship player understood that before he went in there. All right, here we're moving in on the battleship. Don't know if it's the same one or not. Going to give him a little bit of lead time just to make sure. And then here's one of my favorite attacks. You attack one target. We do get 2 torpedo strikes. Instead of turning around, you just move on to the next battleship here. And so that way you're not staying in the AA of the first battleship. And so we're going to drop on the Izuzuchi here. And then we're just going to go back to the ship and switch. And we do get 2 more torpedo strikes, and we start a flood on the Izuzuchi. And that looks like that's going to tick at least for a bit. And he may have damaged combat by now. All right, back out here. It is now a 3 on 8. And so I just keep moving my ship because I know the enemy is encroaching on where they think I am. And so you got to keep moving in this scenario to keep your ship safe. There I thought might have been a little too ambitious, so I alter my course of the autopilot. And then now it's just a 8 on 2. But we're not giving up, folks. My teammates never give up when I'm trying to get a Kraken. And I'm not going to give up when I'm just trying to do a Tech Tree Spotlight for you guys. Here's an example of a bad angle. And we're just going to launch those bombs. And you can see bracketing the enemy ship, no hits. Sorry, my Apple Watch was telling me it was fully charged. All right, back to the carrier, back out with torpedo planes. Definitely how you're going to make your money in the Hosho. So if you're somebody like me who plays destroyers a lot and you think you got it, a pretty good idea of what you're doing torpedo-wise, then maybe this is the right carrier for you to start with. Definitely not the same ease of dropping the HE bombs that we saw in the Komsomolets, or that we will see when we review the Hermes. But on the other hand, torpedoes do a lot of damage. You've seen plenty of my videos in destroyers with no health, still racking up plenty of damage with torpedoes. So that's what we're trying to do here in the Hosho. All right, moving out. Going to get a drop here. You can see a little will to rebuild going on here between the destroyer and the battleship. Not ideal, but it is what it is. Anyway, 2 more torpedo strikes on the Izuzuchi. We're ignoring the destroyer. And we're going after the big target. We want to get that flooding damage and knock him out. Another couple drops right as the plane gets killed. Really quickly, I don't know if I already mentioned this on WoW's builds. Damage record 128,909. Base XP record 2,171. The fire chance looks, it's expressed as 0.43. I think it's 43%. The torpedo speed is 40 knots. They don't give a torpedo reaction time. That's not very nice. All right, here you can see the ellipse of the HE bomb. A little bit better. He's kind of moving into it a little bit. And that looks like a picture-perfect drop, all things considered. A couple of hits, 1 hit maybe. We do set a fire. But that's all I could ever want, is a hit that starts a fire. Even if it's damage con, we're up to 62,000 damage. Going back for another one, you can see all the AA in the air. This is not an ideal circumstance, but neither is this game. And we do get another bomb hit and set another fire in the Iron Duke, and that one is going to burn, folks. Because he wasted a damage con on the last time we set him on fire. All right, we are taking incoming fire at the moment. We have been spotted. And so we're just moving out here in the torpedo bombers. I think we're going to get behind an island, or we're getting near an island, which is why they aren't hitting me every time. And we got the Iron Duke here, still taking damage. And I'm going to go for a drop on him with these torpedoes. Lining it up, giving him a little bit of time to move in. Making sure he's outside of the arming dead space. And 2 torpedo strikes, we start a flood. And maybe I should have stayed behind the island. I guess I'm not smart enough to do that. Now we're taking damage. And we're going to do another drop here on the Iron Duke. There's the high caliber metal. I'm just trying to get behind the island, man. To relative safety while we still have health left. You can see the damage counter stop ticking. And we're going in to finish the Iron Duke off at a bad angle with HE bombs. And that's okay. I like dropping a little off center. And you can see we do get the kill there for our first kill of the game. Alright, and then we're just going to move right on to the next target, who's a lot better angle for us. He is duking it out. We're now the last ship left on our team. Congo moving in, trying to move the circle to where we think he's going to be at. And we do get another bomb hit that puts us over 100,000 damage. Now we're already into the last minute of the match. There's no way I'm going to set the damage record here today, unfortunately. We're not taking damage. That had set fire in the Congo. Maybe I could have gotten close to it. Also, our carrier is on fire. And yeah, I expected any moment we were going to be killed. like right there. And we are killed before I can take out the Rattlehead. Oh, what a bummer. So we end up with a high caliber medal, 102,846 total damage, 14 massive torpedo strikes, 10 bomb hits, 1 kill, and a cap defended flag. The rest of the numbers aren't very impressive, so just see them there on the defeat screen. Unfortunately for us, our team sucked, but that's probably why we were able to accrue so much damage. And you know, it's entirely possible to do this in a win as well. All right, we ended up third on our team, 913 base XP with the kill. Some folks down here at the bottom of the board aren't very impressive. You know, not going to call you out by name, but you could have done a little more work here. All right, let's go back into the port and take a look at our ship. In terms of the upgrades, we went with Air Groups Mod 1 and Air Groups Mod 2 because this is not much of a secondary complement. We got the hull upgrade, and here in the loadout we've got an auto damage control party, 4 charges of the automatic fighter consumable. I wouldn't expect it to do a whole lot. Running the temporary Type 3 camouflage and the 3-year strong flag. Taking a look at the specs, 31,800 hit points with our build. Got the torpedo bombers and the dive bombers. Torpedo bombers, max damage 6,256, 45 knots, 3.5 kilometer range. Dive bombers, Aichi D1A1s. The bombs do 8,500 max damage with a 43% fire chance. So you can see those are the 2 different airplanes in your air groups. And I would concentrate on torpedoes, just my opinion. Secondary armament, 3.5 kilometer range, 8-second reload, 2,400 max HE shell damage, 10% fire chance, just 4 guns. I wouldn't put anything into the secondaries in this ship. AA defense is not great, short range, 3.1 kilometers, 39 damage per second, back before they knew how dangerous aircraft carriers were, I guess, ironically enough. Max speed 25 knots, 740 meter turning circle, 7.9 second rudder shift time. So the speed and turning of a battleship and the rudder shift of a cruiser. Concealment, 9.5 on the surface, 7.4 from the air, 2 kilometers guaranteed. Taking a look at the stats, that was our best game in terms of ships destroyed and max damage. We do have a winning record in the Hosho at 67%. Maybe I should play a couple more matches in the Hosho. All right. Anyway, that is what it is. Armor profile here, not a lot to talk about. You are going to get penetrated and wrecked by just about everything you see. That thing on the side looks almost like a bus that somebody turned into a escape craft of some sort. All right, bow plating 13 millimeters, side plating 13 millimeters. The deck varies between 10 and 13, and the conning tower is the best armor here, right under there at 19 millimeters. Whoopee-doo. All right, let's move on to the commander, Taemon Yamaguchi. Base trait, increase the AA damage per second. We got Reizo Tanaka and Jersey Swirsky. I would swap out Swirsky for Deng Shichang. Swatting it flies in row 1. One-way ticket in row 2, building into torpedo damage. Hidden threat, again, building into the torpedo bombers. Row 4, look at me now, for concealment. And the unique legendary skill, We Are Legion, again, helping out your torpedo bombers. So that's where you make your money in the Hosho, folks. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.